What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of That Brother is Going to Be Delivering My DoorDash real soon. As always, I'm your host, Zach Cronin, and today we are going to be talking about the Kings Warriors playing game, more specifically, how Keegan Murray got loose and put on a performance that might have ended the Warriors dynasty as we know it. On Tuesday, the Warriors and the Kings got together for the opportunity to face the Lakers, or to face the Pelicans, pardon me, for the eighth seed in the Western Conference playoffs, and it was a disastrous game from Golden State. I don't think there's any other way to put it. It was an astonishingly poor performance from the premier dynasty of this generation. I understand that the Warriors have had systemic issues all year long, whether it be defensively, rotationally, offensively. They just did not seem to know how to get this unit to coalesce alongside one another. However, after the All Star game, this looked like an entirely different team. They started playing Trace Jackson Davis more, gave them a little bit more athleticism in the front court. Of course, you still have Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who are two very impactful players. You had Klay Thompson as well, who was still shooting like 40% from three. I think was like fourth or fifth in the NBA in made threes this year. And then it all unraveled in this game. The final score was 118 to 94. And the deficit, the margin reflects how poorly the Warriors played on both ends of the court. What caught my eye and caught me by surprise to begin this game was how absent Steph Curry was from the Warriors offense in the first half. He took only 5 shots in the first 2 quarters. The same guy who averaged 31 points per game for you this season saw only 5 shot attempts in a single elimination game. That is an indictment on the coaching staff, an indictment on the game plan, not necessarily an indictment on Curry himself, because I don't foresee him as the kind of guy to run away from these kinds of moments. But if you are a Curry hater, you could say that he should have been more aggressive in searching for the ball. But if the coach is calling out these plays for you, you're not going to go against him every single time down. That's not a good look. However, the Steve Kerr and the Warriors should have worked to get Steph Curry more shots throughout the first half. Additionally, their defense on the perimeter was piss poor. The Kings shot 46% from three in this game, despite De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell combining to go 3 of 11. No, I'm sorry. It was 3 of 13. Additionally, the Warriors were very loosey goosey with the basketball, had twice as many turnovers as Sacramento, and you're just giving away points to a young athletic team that has the size and the talent to finish in transition with De'Aaron Fox, DeMontis Sabonis. But the highlight of this story is Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis. I want to just talk about Ellis real quick because what a revelation that kid has been for Sacramento, and stepping up into this role on short notice with Malik Monk's injury, with the injury to Kevin Herter. He was phenomenal defensively with his shooting, a real impactful role player. But the star of this show was Keegan Murray. There were, of course, a lot of questions regarding the Kings' offense with no Malik Monk and with no Kevin Herter. You lose Herter, who is a fantastic three-point shooter, and also the sixth man of the year, Malik Monk, who brings like 15 points to your team off the bench. Very hard to replicate that scoring drop. But the Warriors allowed Keegan Murray to get loose for 32 points on 10 of 20 shooting, including 8 of 13 from three. As I mentioned, their perimeter defense was piss poor throughout this entire game. I don't understand. I don't understand how the fall off has been so catastrophic for Golden State. You beat this same team last year in the postseason. Granted, it took 50 points from Steph Curry in Game 7, but those are the kinds of games that your stars are going to have. Before I get too worked up over Golden State, we're just going to go ahead. We're going to look at a little bit of film from Keegan Murray because he is not the most athletic player. He's not the fastest player. He's not even that ball dominant of a player. But these kinds of performances, 32 from the third guy, is what playoff teams have to get. And there are a lot of guys like Keegan Murray in the NBA, and there are a lot of instances from which you can learn from him. This is like the second play of the game right here. Keon Ellis slides through. He's going to set this screen on Klay Thompson. Keegan Murray is going to come off of this screen and then receive a second screen from Domantas Sabonis. However, this is atrocious pick and roll defense from Golden State. I don't know if Steph is late with the call. You can see him pointing to the baseline, which signals to Klay to force Keegan Murray baseline. But when you're doing that, I don't know if that is considered icing the screen or whatever. But when you're forcing a player to the baseline, you need to extend way farther out. Klay Thompson is not extended enough, thereby allowing Murray to literally just run right by him. There is no space here. Also, this is like potato quality for some reason. Ready? Watch it again. All it takes is one explosive move, and Keegan Murray is basically free. There's no way for Golden State to recover from this. Draymond Green should have come up to stop the ball, to force Murray to take a dribble, to do literally anything else other than shoot a wide open three. And you're going to see in like 2 or 3 more plays time, the Kings run this exact same set, and the Warriors defend it much better, and they force Keegan Murray into a difficult 2. It just is like, how were you not prepared for this? I understand it's the Kings' first offensive possession, but this is do or die, man. Like, you have to be locked in straight away. You have to be locked in before tip-off. Driving kick, easy. I'm going to have a hard time going back on this because I have to watch these highlights on YouTube and not on the NBA's website, because apparently that data is not available since it's a playing game. But what we have here, classic driving kick. Steph Curry is in okay position. He's seeing his man in the ball. He is cheating over to help because that's what he has to do. However, it's really not like that intense of an attempt. It's really just a swipe at Harrison Barnes, and if that's all you're going to do, stay glued to your man in the corner. Additionally, Draymond Green can defend Harrison Barnes one-on-one. Draymond Green is an exceptional defender. There's no physical mismatch. Let that matchup go 1v1. Do not give an uncontested 3 or an open 3 to an elite shooter who has already made 2 at this point. This is an open shot for a shooter of Keegan Murray's caliber. Trace Jackson-Davis is unable to get over the screen. Wiggins is dropped, not able to contest. This was where the Warriors were getting their ass beat a little bit, and ultimately led to Trace Jackson-Davis being pulled from the game because it just wasn't a favorable matchup for them. But I hate to talk about effort in regards to professional basketball teams, because I think that dudes in the NBA play hard 99% of the time. I understand there are those games where you don't really get up for, like if you're the Celtics and you're playing Charlotte in January, you might not get up for that game. But this is different. This is a play-in. I don't know if the Warriors wanted to go on vacation early. I don't think that. I think that they were just ill-prepared for some reason. Because if you're Trace Jackson-Davis, are you not going to fight harder over this screen? I mean, it's De'Aaron Fox who's setting that. This isn't Sabonis. This isn't Alex Len. This isn't Jonas Valanciunas. You're bigger than De'Aaron Fox. You're longer than De'Aaron Fox. You should be able to get over that screen. But then again, I'm not trying to pick on Jackson-Davis too much because he is a rookie. This is a huge moment for him. I'm sure he's nervous regardless of whether or not he would say it, but those are the types of things that win or lose basketball games. And it's not only because of the effort, it's the lack of effort that leads to an open shot. This is the same play that I was talking about. And this was much better defended. That is a wacky ass shot for Keegan Murray, but he was feeling it. It was his night. He's going to make that shot. Ellis cutting through, setting the screen on Thompson. The Warriors elect not to switch. They didn't do a lot of switching in this game, which is odd considering the lineups that they would run where everyone was effectively the same size, but whatever. Klay Thompson winds up getting over the screen this time, and this time he commits to chasing Keegan Murray over the screen. so he doesn't get beat on the fake to the baseline. He gets over the top very easily. He gets behind Murray to funnel him in to Draymond Green. There is still the possibility. I mean, there isn't the possibility of a late switch here, but you have Draymond Green who's dropping down. You have help with Steph Curry on the backside taking away this pass, and it's a 1-2. Plants on his left foot. That's it. That is an exceptional shot. They're showing it here in slow motion. This is just winning basketball by Keon Ellis here. He recovers this loose ball, and even though Sacramento's playing 4-on-5 effectively, Golden State's offense is not set. This is one of those 50-50 balls that you have to win if you want to win games like this. So it's a scramble under the baseline. Pokes it away from Draymond. Good vision. Kicks it over to Keegan Murray. Wiggins does a solid job closing out. However, that's not enough. As I've talked about endlessly, as you'll notice watching NBA basketball, when you're an elite shooter, it doesn't matter how great the closeout is. If that defender isn't on you to begin with, it's a bucket. Very rare Keegan Murray ball handler opportunity. Little two-man game with Alex Len. I don't know, like, Brandon Pajemski somehow gets Moses Moody glued to him, which frees up this little mid-range by Keegan Murray. Also, Kevon Looney playing in drop, which is fine, but it's really the hang-up over here on the corner. I don't know if it was just a lack of communication, a lack of awareness, a poor switch as well, potentially, because you saw Moody just kind of hanging out in the corner after. But this is one of the easiest mid-range shots you're gonna get, and this is also, I think, where things began to compound for Golden State. You had a rough first half, but it was still a fairly close game. But these possessions just kind of spiraled after that, and like all of the little mistakes that Golden State made in the first half compounded to now, where it's just, I don't know if it was just a chalked mental, or I don't know what it was, a poor scheme. Because listen, this is like, Sabonis isn't on the court right now. De'Aaron Fox was shooting bricks all night long. He did not have a good game. He did not have a good game in terms of his jump shooting. But ideally, like, these are minutes that Golden State should have been able to win. And of course, it was compounded by the fact that Klay Thompson was a bagel for them. 0 of 10 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. And these are just the kinds of shots that Sacramento was making all night long. This is all the space that Murray needs. Holy God, fucking Rainbow Six Siege flashbang right now. This is all the space that he needs. Klay Thompson doesn't fight over the screen properly. Draymond Green doesn't close out intensely. It was just a mess all game long trying to defend these pick and rolls. And it's effectively free points. Good ball movement on this possession by Sacramento. Sabonis is trying to establish position in the paint on Moses Moody. You can see Draymond Green cheats over because this is an obvious mismatch. You're going to have to bring a double on this. Keon Ellis, however, recognizes this help, swings the ball to Trey Lyles, who is then able to kick it to the corner, as I believe this is Trace Jackson Davis, slides up. This is perfect basketball. That pass by Ellis, however, is something crucial that all championship contenders need someone to do. You need a second guard who can make a skip pass like that. De'Aaron Fox and him are on the same side of the court. We all know that Fox can make this pass. And you look at the Celtics, for example, they got a bunch of guys who can make that skip pass. You got the Nuggets, a bunch of guys. They got a couple guys who can make that skip pass. Murray and Jokic. You look at Dallas, even though they might not be a contender, they have Luka, they have Kyrie. Not saying that Sacramento is a contender based off of Keon Ellis being able to make the skip pass, but it's one of those crucial facilitator attributes that you need to help the offense not get bogged up. Because if Ellis is incapable of making this pass, it stalls. You got 8 seconds left on the shot clock. You can't see it because my head's in the way, but there's 8 seconds left here. Something has to happen. You're not going to throw the ball into Sabonis and have him go 1-on-2. You're not going to kick the ball out to De'Aaron Fox, even though you could. So what do? You try to get the ball to the hottest hand, who is Keegan Murray. This skip pass, and then, like, this is the proper rotation by Trace Jackson Davis. But it's just you're playing 2-on-1 on this side of the court, and you're playing 2-on-1 against a guy who's got 25 right now. Easy pitch and catch, especially considering that Keegan Murray is shooting over Chris Paul here. They do a good job, Golden State does, of preventing Fox from beating them off the dribble. This is good effort by Jonathan Kuminga here. You could tell that De'Aaron Fox isn't really trying to force the issue as well. So he just pulls it out. There's 14 seconds left here. They could potentially look like they're going to go into a 1-5 pick and roll, but he slides down. Now, Fox, this pass is there. Why he didn't make this pass, I'm not so sure. Maybe he kicked it to Murray thinking that he would feed it to Sabonis, but either way, it's a 3 over a shorter guy. But this was also not a particularly good defensive possession either, because if Draymond is going to blitz, someone has to... You can't just leave this dude open in the middle of the paint. I mean, I guess you could. You're down 23. It's not like it fucking matters anyway. But Keegan Murray slides up to help, shot ready, and that's that. Very, very good. Very, very good. Spectacular performance. Terrific performance by Keegan Murray in that situation. Just a perfect example of him not having to do anything that he isn't used to. Effectively, the entirety of this game for him was be in your spot and catch and shoot. You're shooting over smaller guys. You have the size advantage over a guy like Chris Paul. You're running the offense as you normally would. The Kings didn't do anything different than what they've been doing for the entire season. So I don't know what happens from here. You know, it's possible that the Kings beat the Pelicans when they play on Friday, because Zion is not going to be playing in that game. He's dealing with some hamstring injury, but it's entirely possible. I did pick the Warriors to win that game. I looked like a silly goose, but the better team won, and I think that was pretty clear. It was a convincing victory, largely powered by Keegan Murray. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. Thank you guys so very much for coming to hang out with me today. As always, everything that I'm associated with is down in the description box below. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment as well. It really helps out with the algorithm. If you do any of those 3 things, you will become my new favorite person. And with that, I will catch y'all in the next one.